Imagine waking up one day and realizing everything around you, your house, your family, the sky above, is nothing more than an illusion. It's not just a trick of the eye. It's a carefully constructed simulation designed to keep you from seeing the truth. It is a world that appears authentic, yet conceals a much more profound reality beneath its surface. Years ago, a man walked the earth who saw through the illusion. He understood the world was not what it seemed. He tried to warn people, but his message was too dangerous. It threatened the system, the power, and the control. To maintain control, they erased it. They burned books, destroyed records, and rewrote history to keep humanity blind. His name was Jesus, and what he discovered changes everything. For centuries, people were told that Jesus came to teach love, forgiveness, and faith, but buried texts, hidden away for thousands of years, tell a different story. A story so shocking, it was banned by the early church. These lost books, discovered in 1945 near an Egyptian tomb, reveal a Jesus who didn't just perform miracles. He exposed the very nature of reality itself. In the Gospel of Sophia, Jesus doesn't return from the dead as a man of flesh and bone. He appears as pure, blinding a light, something beyond human, something outside the simulation. He tells his followers that the world is not what they believe. Everything they see, touch, and experience is part of a grand deception. He assures his followers that their true selves have been trapped inside a false creation, ruled by a being that wants to keep them powerless. This being, known in Gnostic texts as Yaldabaoth, is not the God people have been worshipping. He is not the creator of all things, but the architect of the illusion, a being that set himself up as a god, feeding off humanity's ignorance, keeping them obedient, afraid, and unaware of their real origins. Jesus reveals that beyond this world exists a greater reality, one made of infinite light and mind. Everything once thought to be physical, mountains, oceans, even the human body, is actually structured energy, a projection from a higher plane. Ancient words that sound eerily similar to what modern quantum physics is just beginning to uncover. Scientists today are starting to question the very fabric of existence. Quantum mechanics has shown that matter, at its core, doesn't exist the way people think. Particles flicker in and out of reality. Light behaves both as a wave and a particle, shifting based on observation. Some of the world's greatest physicists now suggest that reality functions more like a hologram, an information-based projection, exactly what Jesus described thousands of years ago. If humanity knew that the material world was an illusion, that they were being manipulated, that they had the power to break free, the entire system would collapse. No more fear, no more control, no more blind obedience to rules designed to keep people in the dark. Jesus wasn't just a teacher, he was a rebel, a truth bringer, a figure who cracked the code of existence and returned to wake others up. He was Neo before the Matrix existed. His words were a red pill, meant to shatter the illusion, meant to set minds free. And for that, he became a threat. The Gospel of Sophia wasn't the only text erased. The church labeled numerous other writings that discussed hidden knowledge as heretical and persecuted their followers. The church rewrote history, created a version of Jesus that suited their power structures, and buried the truth under centuries of dogma. What remained was a faith built not on awakening, but on submission. Everything that seemed solid, from the stars in the sky to the skin on human bodies, is nothing more than a projection. It is a structured illusion intended to subdue consciousness and prevent it from realizing its true essence. The Lost Gospel describes how those who rule this world, beings unseen, unknown, yet ever present, ensure that their illusion remains intact. They are the architects of this false reality, entities who fashion the world not as a paradise, but as a cage. Remember to join our community by subscribing to this channel. The being that many worship as the creator is not the true source of all things, but a lesser power, a false ruler known as Yaldabaoth. He governs with authority, believing himself supreme, yet he is blind to the greater reality beyond his own creation. His world is built on control, obedience, and ignorance, a carefully designed structure meant to keep those within it from ever questioning what lies beyond. The Gospel's words describe a hierarchy of beings, forces that enforce the illusion, ensuring that humanity remains unaware of its imprisonment. These enforcers, known as archons, move invisibly, shaping thoughts, influencing beliefs, and crafting a version of reality that keeps the mind occupied with trivialities, distractions, and fear. They are the gatekeepers of the dream, ensuring that those who live within it never awaken. There are those who sense that something is wrong, that the world does not behave as it should. They feel the weight of something unseen, an unspoken force keeping them from seeing beyond the veil. These are the ones drawn to the hidden knowledge, the fragments of truth that have managed to survive throughout history. They are the seekers, those who, like Jesus, begin to glimpse the structure of reality for what it truly is. Modern science, unknowingly, has begun to confirm what the ancients always knew. Quantum physics has dismantled the idea of solid matter, revealing that at the smallest levels, everything is simply energy in motion, a wave of probabilities rather than fixed objects. The deeper scientists look, the more reality behaves like a vast interconnected field of consciousness rather than a mechanical universe. Some of the greatest minds in physics have proposed theories that align with what the Lost Gospels described centuries ago. The holographic universe theory suggests that everything experienced as physical is actually a projection of information from a higher dimension. Time, space, and matter may be nothing more than the surface layer of a deeper, unseen reality. Even more unsettling is the realization that human perception is part of the illusion. The brain, like a processor, receives and interprets information, but it does not see the full picture. It constructs a version of reality based on what it is allowed to perceive. Nature does not set the boundaries of this reality, but a far greater force determines what is visible and what is not. The Lost Gospel teaches that the only way to escape the illusion is true knowledge. It is not faith or obedience, but a profound understanding that dismantles the false reality from within. Jesus did not come to create a religion. He came to expose a prison. He did not seek followers, but seekers, those who would begin to question everything and in doing so, reclaim their true selves. Greatest secret ever hidden. Humanity is more than flesh, thought, and conditioned beliefs. The texts suggest that within every individual is a fragment of the true light, the essence of a reality beyond this one. It has been buried beneath layers of programming, distractions, and imposed limitations, but it has never been lost. It waits to be remembered. The illusion is most effective when it feels real. Every aspect of life has been shaped to ensure that the mind accepts the falsehood without resistance. Individuals learn from childhood what to believe, what is true, and what is possible. They are given a version of reality that aligns with the illusion, never suspecting that there is anything beyond it. Religion, media, education, and societal structures work together, reinforcing the same controlled narrative. The goal is not just to mislead, but to ensure that no one even considers questioning the nature of existence itself. The Lost Gospel describes how Jesus shattered this control. He was not merely a teacher of morality, he was a disruptor of the false system. His words did not simply guide, they broke the illusion apart. He revealed that the world is not solid, not permanent, not what it appears to be. He exposed the false rulers, the beings who had shaped reality into a prison. Fear and distraction are the cornerstones of control. Those who are afraid do not question. They do not look beyond their immediate struggles. They do not challenge the system that governs their lives. Fear keeps minds locked inside the illusion, ensuring that the truth remains beyond reach. The false rulers of this world ensure that fear is constant. Fear of punishment, fear of suffering, fear of the unknown. Humanity is taught to fear death, rejection, failure, and uncertainty. Every moment of life is carefully structured to keep thoughts occupied and to keep eyes turned away from the greater reality. Beyond fear, distraction is the second layer of imprisonment. The mind is kept busy, flooded with meaningless conflicts, endless entertainment, and unrelenting pressures. Attention is divided, shattered into fragments that prevent deeper understanding. The system is designed so that there is no time to ask the real questions. The Lost Gospel speaks of this deception, warning that the greatest enemy of awakening is forgetfulness. Not only does forgetfulness lead to memory loss, but it also deliberately programs the mind to accept the false world as the only truth. This is why his true teachings were erased. If people understood the nature of reality, they could no longer be controlled. The system would collapse. The illusion would shatter. One of the most influential figures in physics, Max Planck, changed the world with his discovery of quantum mechanics. He believed he would uncover the fundamental nature of matter. Instead, he found something far stranger. Planck revealed that matter does not exist as an independent reality. At the deepest level, everything is made of energy, vibrations, and patterns, not solid objects. The structure of the universe is not built on physical matter, but on something far more mysterious. Its most conclusive consciousness is the foundation of reality. The universe does not create awareness. Awareness creates the universe. His words shattered the idea that the physical world is absolute. If consciousness constructs everything people experience, then reality is neither fixed nor real as people believe. Reality undergoes generation, shaping, and programming. Just as Jesus described, light and thought are the true building blocks of existence. The physical world is only a projection. Even the greatest scientific minds of the modern age struggled to accept the implications of quantum theory. Albert Einstein, the genius who reshaped physics, was deeply disturbed by what Planck and his colleagues discovered. He famously declared that reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. The idea that the universe was not solid and that thought and observation could shape it was almost too radical for Einstein to accept. But the more he explored quantum mechanics, the clearer it became that the physical world was not what it seemed. One of the most bizarre discoveries in physics, the observer effect, demonstrated that particles do not exist in a definite state until observed. Reality is not just a neutral existence, it responds to consciousness. Are you enjoying the story? Support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Another physicist who uncovered the unsettling nature of reality was Werner Heisenberg, best known for the uncertainty principle. His research showed that the universe is not deterministic, it is fluid, shifting, unstable. Nothing exists in a fixed state until it is measured, making reality something more like a probability field than a physical construct. Among modern scientists, few were as bold as David Bohm, a physicist who believed that reality itself was a grand illusion. He proposed that the universe is holographic, meaning that what appears to be solid and separate is actually interconnected energy, unfolding from a higher dimension. Bohm's implicate order theory stated that everything in existence is part of a deeper, hidden reality, one that human senses cannot directly perceive. He compared the universe to a hologram, where each part contains the whole, much like the ancient mystics described. This perfectly mirrors what Jesus taught in secret. He explained that humanity is part of something infinite, something beyond the limits of this world. Bohm's controversial ideas forced him out of mainstream science. His findings were too close to the truth, too dangerous for a system built on maintaining the illusion. The evidence has always been there, hidden in physics, buried in philosophy, whispered in ancient texts. The false world is not absolute. It is a temporary structure, a carefully maintained deception. Jesus was not crucified for preaching kindness. He was silenced because he exposed the system itself. Now, the truth is resurfacing. Science and ancient wisdom are converging. The cracks in the illusion are widening. The ones who built this prison are losing their grip. In the beginning, before time, before space, before anything that could be seen or touched, there existed a realm of pure light and infinite wisdom. This place was called the Pleroma, the divine fullness, where only beings of pure knowledge and energy resided. It was here that Sophia was born, an emanation of the Supreme Source, a radiant presence filled with immense understanding. Sophia, whose name means wisdom, was unlike any other. She was powerful, luminous, and carried within her the essence of the divine. She was not separate from the Supreme Creator, but flowed from it, like a stream from an endless ocean. She held great knowledge, yet there was one thing she had never experienced: creation itself. A thought formed within her, a desire to bring something into existence on her own. She did not seek approval, did not consult the divine order, and did not wait for guidance. In her eagerness, she acted alone, attempting to shape something new from her own energy. But without the balance of the supreme light, without the harmony of the pleroma, her creation did not emerge as she had intended. What she brought into being was not perfect. It was not divine. It was twisted, incomplete, and flawed. From her mistake, something dark was born, a being of arrogance and ignorance, a creature that did not understand its own origins. This being was known as the demiurge, the false god, the architect of the material world. Unlike Sophia, who came from wisdom, the demiurge was blind, believing himself to be the only creator. unaware that he had come from a mistake, a shadow of true creation. Filled with pride, this false god declared himself the ruler of all things. He believed he was the first, the only, the supreme. And with this belief, he set forth to create his own world, shaping a reality far different from the luminous pleroma. The demiurge did not create a realm of pure energy or knowledge. Instead, he built something heavy, dense, and limited, the physical universe, a place of matter, of form, of struggle. He filled it with stars, planets, and living beings, but all of it was imperfect, bound by rules and suffering. Unlike the divine realm, which was timeless and boundless, this new world was trapped within cycles, decay, and illusions. Though he had no true power of his own, the demiurge believed himself to be God, the master of everything he created. He did not know that he was merely a fragment of something greater, a distortion of what Sophia had intended. She, seeing what had happened, was filled with sorrow. She realized the consequences of her act of independent creation. Her mistake had given birth to a being that would rule over a false reality, a god who did not know the truth. She watched as the demiurge filled his world with rulers, known as archons, who helped him maintain control over his creation. These beings ensured that the physical world remained a prison of ignorance, where those who lived within it would never remember the higher realms. Yet, even within this flawed world, there was still a spark of the divine. Sophia had not lost all of her essence. A part of her light, her wisdom, still remained hidden within creation, scattered throughout the material universe. She longed to correct her mistake, to guide those trapped in their illusion back to the truth. Fearing the loss of his power, the demiurge made every effort to keep the world asleep, blind and unaware. He filled existence with distractions, with suffering, with false beliefs, so that none would seek the hidden knowledge that could free them. However, we cannot permanently erase the truth. Those who seek, those who question, and those who look beyond the physical world begin to remember. The wisdom of Sophia, though hidden, is never truly lost. It whispers through dreams, through revelations, through the deep sense that this world is not what it seems. The Jewish mystical tradition, particularly Kabbalah, contains a concept remarkably similar to Sophia, the Shekinah. Described as the feminine presence of God, Shekinah represents the divine glory that dwells among humanity, offering guidance, protection, and hidden knowledge. Like Sophia, Shekinah is not separate from the divine, but is an emanation, a part of God that interacts with the material world. She is the compassionate, nurturing aspect of the Creator, often depicted as a light that descends into the lower realms to help souls find their way back to the divine. This idea also appears in the book of Proverbs, where wisdom is personified as a being who was present with God before the creation of the world. Proverbs 8 describes wisdom as saying, "I was there when he established the heavens. I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight." This passage aligns with the Gnostic view of Sophia as the first emanation of the Supreme God, existing before the material world was formed. Both traditions teach that wisdom is not something humans acquire on their own. It is something that reaches down to them from above, offering guidance and understanding. Another key similarity is the story of exile. In Kabbalah, Shekinah is said to have descended into the lower realms. where she became separated from God and must be restored through spiritual awakening. This mirrors Sophia's fall from the pleroma, where she mistakenly created the demiurge and became trapped in the material world. Both stories describe a divine, feminine force that seeks reunion with the higher realms, offering humanity a path to redemption. One of the closest parallels is Prajnaparamita, the Buddhist goddess of transcendental wisdom. Her name means the perfection of wisdom, and she represents the knowledge that leads beyond illusion, beyond suffering, beyond the limitations of human perception. Buddha's teachings describe the world as Maya, an illusion, a concept that aligns with the Gnostic belief that the material world is a deception created by the demiurge. The path to liberation, according to Buddhism, is through awakening to higher wisdom, just as the Gnostics taught that the soul must remember its true origins beyond the physical realm. If you are enjoying this story, consider clicking Super Thanks. Your support helps bring these hidden truths to more people and keeps the message alive. Another strong connection can be found in the Tibetan Buddhist figure, Tara, who embodies divine compassion and wisdom. Tara is said to hear the cries of those lost in suffering, reaching down to rescue them from the cycle of rebirth. This mirrors Sophia's role as a savior figure, descending into the lower realms to bring knowledge to those trapped in the illusion of the material world. Hinduism also offers a striking parallel with Saraswati, the goddess of wisdom, learning, and divine knowledge. She is often depicted with a book and a veena, a musical instrument, symbolizing both intellectual and spiritual enlightenment. Like Sophia, she is the guiding force that leads seekers toward truth. Though the Gospel of Sophia is rooted in Gnostic Christianity, its themes are not confined to one belief system. The idea of wisdom as a divine, feminine force is found in nearly every major spiritual tradition, each offering its own interpretation of how knowledge and enlightenment are revealed to the world. Across different cultures, wisdom is seen as the key to escaping illusion, overcoming ignorance, and returning to the true source of existence. Whether through the Christian Sophia, the Jewish Shekinah, the Buddhist Prajnaparamita, or the Hindu Saraswati, the message remains clear. Awakening to higher knowledge is the path to freedom. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.